Mike Tyson's Punch-Out was released in 1987 in North America, as Nintendo attempted to port both Punch-Out and Super Punch-Out from the arcades and combine a well-known face in the boxing world by licensing Mike Tyson's image and likeness for the Nintendo game. You are the character Little Mac, and it is your job to beat the shit out of everybody you come across. The concept is simple enough. You battle your way through 3 different circuits, consisting of 11 unique fighters in 14 fights, and they get progressively harder. The gameplay is simple enough. A and B are right and left punch respectively. Down on the D-pad is a block. If you hold up on the D-pad while hitting your punch buttons, you hit high. And your start button, instead of pausing the game, is a star punch, which is a kind of super-powered uppercut. Your opponent's energy is on the right, and your energy is on the left, above the point score. The hearts are a kind of stamina, and you lose a heart every time you throw a punch that is blocked, or block a punch. If you run out of hearts, your character turns red and cannot swing, and you must dodge 2 or 3 punches from your opponent to gain some hearts back and be able to swing again. Each of your opponents has a particular specific weakness, and it is up to you to find that weakness and exploit it. Nintendo was rather tight-lipped about these weaknesses, and for many years would not release secrets of that nature. And my favorite part of the game, the training sequence. Between title bouts, you train. Rocky style in the 80s with a pink sweatsuit. The training sequence is just a chance to catch your breath. It's totally animated. You don't have to do anything. And at the end of it, they give you a passcode. That passcode you can put in the beginning title screen to pick up where you left off, because there was no save feature on this game. I remember spending many hours and many quarters in the mid and late 80s playing Punch-Out and Super Punch-Out in the arcade. They were quite fun to play, and at times there was even a line to play the machine. So needless to say, many gamers were excited at a home version, even though it wasn't an exact replica of what you could do in the arcade. I must say that I haven't played Punch-Out in probably something like 15 years, at least the Mike Tyson's version. And I was breezing through it, no problem. It seemed really easy to me, actually. I don't think I really lost a match until, about halfway through the game, maybe even more. There were moments where I couldn't remember what the special trick was to beat a particular opponent, but it all came back to me rather quickly when the match got underway. And again, another training sequence with the passkey at the end of it. Gotta love them 80s. Here we begin to see a repeat of previous characters we had beaten earlier. This time they're back with a few new moves and a little bit faster and more powerful. Here is one of my favorites from the arcade version. It's Soda Popinski. In the arcade version, he was Vodka Drunkinski. A much better name. You just don't see too many characters with the first name Vodka in video games. Here we have our second fight with Bald Bull. He's a little bit harder to beat this time, but still pretty much a breeze. I think I haven't lost a match up until this point still. Until I got to this guy. Yes, I lost to the second version of Don Flamenco, which is quite embarrassing. And now the game really changes pace with Mr. Sandman, a near impossible enemy. This guy was just insane. There was nothing he could do to avoid his punches. He would of course flash before he did his super punches, but it wasn't nearly enough time to react to. So I'll just fast forward through my major ass kicking. Talk about one tough customer. I think he's probably the hardest guy in the game to beat, next to Mike Tyson. I did beat Mike Tyson back in 1987 or 88, and I think it was about the same time that the Fresh Prince came out with the same song. I think I could beat Mike Tyson. Interesting side note in 80s pop culture. As we approached the end of the round, I actually went around with them. And you see that shit? Do you believe that? I look for advice that says, join Nintendo Fun Club today. That is some bullshit. And here I believe I'm about to go down for the count. Yep. Retire? Fuck that. I got the internet now, and I can look up that code for Super Macho Man. And last but not least, coming up, Iron Mike Tyson. As soon as I get this guy out of the way. Here we go. This is what it's all about. If you survive the first 1 minute and 30 seconds of your match with Mike, the rest is in the bag, so to speak. One hit from him in that first minute and 30 though, you go right down. And you can't hit him until that minute and 30 seconds is up. Needless to say, Mike whooped my ass, and that was that. But I did put up a valiant effort, I must say, for not having played the game in many, many years. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out is a little piece of 80s nostalgia. It's a fun game to play, plays very well, it's a good time, and I highly recommend it. I'm your host, Ami, for Classic Games Revisited. Until next time.